Hello, my name is Dennis Fletcher. I'm with Hemet here in Hemet, California. And we're here in the lounge room in the back of Denny's restaurant on Florida Avenue. And I'm here with Jamie Swain, who is a candidate for District 47, California Assembly District 47. And Jamie's got a couple of local citizens here in Hemet that she's going to interview, so I'm going to turn this over to Jamie.
Hi everybody, I am here with Drea and Jamara, and we're just going to sit and have a casual conversation about the things that are important to them. They're millennials, and I'm looking for their vote, so I want to know what can I do to win their vote. So, I'll start with Drea. Drea, tell us about yourself.
I'm 24 years old. I stay in Val Vista, California, here in Hemet. I am a clerk for Stater Brothers, and I enjoy what I do. That's basically me.
Good. And we can just speak up a little bit.
Okay.
So, were you born here in Hemet?
No, I was not.
Where'd you originally come from?
From LA.
Really? I'm from LA as well.
Yeah.
So what is it that you like about Hemet? What brings you here and allows you to stay?
It's a smaller town, I could say. It's not the big city. And that's what I enjoy about being here. I live on property, and that's kind of my future is like to live on property.
Okay, so then tell me, being 24, what are some of the things that are important to you?
Families, having a steady job and being able to afford your lifestyle with the job that you have. It's going to be hard to do that, since everything's going up and your pay goes up, but it's not that easy.
It's still not easy, right? And see, a lot of people, I think that a lot of the candidates seem to forget when they're in Sacramento, they're fighting for certain things, but it's when you're not here, you kind of get lost in the sauce. I'm a truck driver, and I'm out of work right now because I had an injury. And so for me, I'm watching my fellow truck drivers that are worried about the gas prices. Their gas prices affect them as much as they affect us. And now that diesel is going up, now that means, as they say, crap rolls downhill. So now it's going to be harder for us to get food and clothing and everything that we need, which causes prices to go up higher. So how is that going to directly affect you?
Well, like you said, like diesel's going on. I drive a diesel every day, so I do know how much gas I am pushing out. And sometimes I feel like I'm wasting not wasting, obviously I need to get from point A to point B.
Girl, you can say wait.
It just seems
I
like
had to bribe my son
Yeah.
to use his e-commerce car to get to Sacramento for violence awareness, because if I drove my truck, it would have cost me $600 to drive my 2008 Chevy Avalanche all the way to Sacramento. I used his little car, it's a Ford Fusion, and I only spent $100 on gas, and I was like, thank you. So I get
spend
it.
anywhere from like 100 to 170 every 2 weeks just in gas to get back and forth.
That's
So I do know
insane.
it is a lot.
So if you could change, if I was in office right now and you wanted to change something, what would that be?
I would want to change the way jobs make it to where you cannot express or be your own personality. You have to be a certain way for them to accept you to work for them. I feel like it's not worth it for me, in that aspect, because just because what we look like or how we dress or the color of our hair and stuff like that doesn't represent how I can work. It doesn't take
Your ability to do your
Yeah.
job. What about the professionalism though? Because at some point you have to have a little bit of that.
Right.
There has to be something that separates you from other people.
Right.
So maybe they can't completely change the rules, but maybe they can I don't know, bended sounds a little harsh. Maybe they can do something to be a little more adaptable to the new people. I can feel that. I can understand that. What about you, Tamara? How old are you? Tell us your background. Tamara's shy, guys. So be patient with her.
I'm 20. I live in Hemet, and I work at State of Rose, and I'm in the bakery.
How long have you been in it?
5 years.
Okay. Where'd you originally come from?
Long Beach.
Long Beach. Okay. Okay. So what do you like about it?
Kind of dull.
Why?
It's very
what can we do to
different.
make you like him better?
But
Well, it's not popping like Long Beach.
I know, but put, more houses or apartments up. I feel like it's too much.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So
So
it's
that
more
would,
like a town than city.
well, it is a town. But you want it to be more citier. Let me tell you something. I've been here for 20 years. And when I came here, you think it's empty now, baby. When I first came, I was like, what is going on? When I first came, they still closed on Sundays, which I kind of missed that. Yeah. All this stuff that you see, all these businesses and stuff that you see, thank you for the chamber for initiating, the businesses and getting more businesses involved. And thank you for the city of Hemet being more inclusive with businesses. That's how you get businesses, when you are supportive of businesses, and that brings back to what we were talking about jobs. We do need more jobs here. We need more factories here. We need more. So what you're talking about is developers, more real estate brokers and agents and investors coming in to invest in him. Y'all hear that? We need you guys to come in and invest into this city or into this town so we can make it more city-like. So what else?
Well,
What else do you wish can be changed about it?
definitely the streets. It's very, they will fix it, but just a little part of it, don't finish the whole thing, and they will move somewhere else.
Shots fired. So then, okay, so let me explain something to you. Our city council, we were having a conversation, everybody, about what our representatives do and who does what. And so things like that, you guys get to hang with me, you guys will get to talk to the people that can help make these things happen. Okay? This is why it's important to have someone that you can see and you can call and you can get on Instagram. I'm not stuffy like everybody else. I'm part millennial and part old school. And you can go on my Instagram and you say, Miss Jamie Swain, we need speed bumps, we need this, and then I'm gonna give it to city council and I'm gonna say, hey look, Jamara and Drea said that we need more jobs. Jamara needs more city life so she can stay in Hemet. We need her to stay in Hemet. We need her babies to stay in Hemet. We need them to stay in Hemet, and the only way that we can do that is by listening to you guys. So do you have anything else that you would like for him to do? Go ahead.
I don't know how to improve more safety. I mean, I hear that bullying is a very big thing here within the city. Children are not enough heard. And it's just, I feel like sometimes some schools just push you under the rug. I feel like this is something that should be more aware of,
What school, did you graduate here in Hemet?
No, I did not.
You did not, you're right, you not, but you said you, what school did you go to?
I graduated from
Okay. How long ago I was on? All right, so we need to improve our schools. We need to get more housing, maybe a more affordable housing into the area. And then we need to listen to these kids. So what are some things that you guys can do to help me facilitate that? Do you guys vote?
I do not vote.
You do not vote. Okay, tell me why you don't vote.
I just feel like us people are not heard enough.
Okay.
And I feel like sometimes our votes just, we vote, but it just doesn't seem like much is being done with our votes.
Okay. How about you? Why don't you?
I don't know, because honestly, without a vote or not, things going to be done their way.
So, I feel like part of that might be true. What can I do to get you to vote for me this time? Because the way that it works is the more people that vote, see, the government has who they want, right? You gotta get who you want. The only way we can do that is if you guys join with me and help me get the word out. So this is why I'm gonna be doing things here. Denny has given me an opportunity and I wanna capitalize on that. So I'm gonna do all that I can to educate you guys. You guys have my personal phone number, no cap. I'm telling you, no cap. You have my phone number. You can call me right now. If I, for whatever reason, if I don't win this term, I don't want you to be like, oh, I voted. See, that's why I don't vote. No. That means that I have stepped my game up. And I plan on continuing to run until I do win because I do want to be that champion voice for you. But see, I need you guys. Because, like I said, the government has who they want, right? Fine. But I want to change that narrative. So, I plan on meeting with you guys. No cap. I'm telling you genuinely. I would like to meet with you guys. I'm going to have both your phone numbers. Before I leave here today, I'm going to send you a flyer for my event tomorrow. And I will keep in contact with you guys. If you guys are open to talking to me and open to do a few more sessions like this, I'm game. This is what's going to change that narrative so that you don't feel like your vote doesn't count. See, you voting for me is big, like voting for the president, but not so much. It starts small, right? And then I can educate you guys on what the city council does. I can take you on tours so you can see the city council. I can take you on tours of Sacramento. That way you can, I think it's different when you actually go and you see it for yourself. So, I want to thank Dre and Jamar for their time. Thank Denny's for allowing us to do this, and I look forward to talking to you guys and partying with you guys. Everybody shout out to me. And I thank Dennis and Miss Tammy and our other gentleman that y'all can't see on the camera for taking the time out to do this, and I'm going to turn it back over to Dennis.
Well, thank you very much, Jamie, and I want to thank both Rhea and Tamara for being here as representative young citizens in the city of Hemet. This is Dennis Fletcher from Hemet News saying so long for now. Hello, folks. This is Dennis Fletcher with Hemet News. We're here in the back room, otherwise known as the lounge of Denny's restaurant on Florida in Hemet. And I'm here with Jamie Swain, who is a candidate for the California Assembly District 47. And if you don't know where that is, she'll explain that to us. And I'm also here with another guest, Clarence Bowser, who's with Primerica. He's an insurance company, and he's also a very active volunteer with the Hemet and San Jacinto Chamber of Commerce. So, Jamie, why don't you give us a little bit of background on yourself first, just in terms of who you are, how you got here at Hemet, and then we'll get into some questions that we've got about housing and some of the other issues.
Okay, sounds great. Hi, everybody. I'm Jamie Swain. I'm a veteran. I served 10.5 years in the United States Navy. I was stationed in San Diego. I'm originally from Los Angeles, but I've been in Hemet for over 20 years now. I've established my business here. I had a hair salon here for a few years, and then the economy took a turn. So I went into truck driving. I've been a truck driver now for over 10 years, but I recently had an injury, hurt my shoulder, so now I'm off work, temporarily till they bandage me all up again. And I I am very passionate about our community and community relations. So when I stopped coaching, I had a little league football team here in town. Didn't do too great. The kids were great. They were winning. But I had to learn a few tricks of the trade of having a football team and, you know, being a track coach. So made a few mistakes that I have to atone for, but I decided to get involved in community affairs and volunteering in the community, and I want to facilitate change. I think it's time, way overdue. Everyone is seeing what they can do to resolve this homeless crisis. What I want to do is not try to fix it on my own. I would like to work with my fellow Republicans and Democrats to try to resolve this together. We need everybody. We need all ideas. And we even need to talk to the people that are facing homelessness. You know, to see what they want. Everybody wants to come in and do what they want, but what is it about what's best for them and what can better serve them? Some of the other issues are crime. Crime is horrible. I've had my car broken into, so, you know, that lets you know I'm no different than anybody else. We need to figure out, I'm for law enforcement, but I'm also for the rights of the people. We have to figure out what's best for our law enforcement and what's best for the citizens, because we pay our law enforcement, we pay their salaries. And so we need them to be respected. We need them to know that we appreciate them. And we also need for our citizens to feel comfortable and not be afraid. I would love to bring back programs like Cops for Kids. Kids should not have to feel like they are, you know, afraid of our law enforcement.
I believe Cops for Kids is back now.
Well, they are, but I actually have, I called them a couple of times. I need to get down there. I've been busy. I want to do some things with them.
Yeah, they're one of
They
our-
never left.
They're one of our sponsors. So
Yeah.
We'll make sure that you get introduced to the right people there.
Yes,
Good
yes.
folks.
I spoke with, I believe, the founder, but what I would like to do, if I had it my way, when I had my football team, I would have loved to have been able to facilitate some events with them, you know, so that my kids could know, like, no, they have a job to do. Everybody has a job to do, and their job is to keep good order, okay? And without them, nobody can safely walk the street. But we also need to know that we can trust you, you know, just with anybody else. The people need to be able to know that they can trust me. That's the only way they're gonna vote for me.
Do you think there should be any kind of a mechanism that facilitates citizenry communicating with the police?
I think that,
I'm not sure there is one.
well, when I was an Explorer Scout, I did Explorer Scouts down in Los Angeles, and I also was a volunteer, and I was a mentor for, I hate when people call us underprivileged, or I hate when people refer to people that are not as I hate when they, you know, put labels on us.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that for young children that are growing up in challenging areas, that's the easiest way that I can put that. I think that if we start going back to doing ride-alongs and encouraging kids to join the Explorer Scouts so that they can see what law enforcement does, that's why I said Cops for Kids.
Yeah.
Because if we can facilitate different businesses, like you told me about what was it, Adopt a Block,
Yeah,
right?
Dr. Block program.
If we can have programs where, you know, some of the officers adopt some of these kids, not like adoption in the way that we think adopt. I mean, like, you know, sponsor a kid in football like they used to. sponsor a kid in sports, it facilitates that relationship between the officer and that child, and now the child no longer fears you. You know, there has to be a healthy reverence. Fear is not a good word. A healthy reverence to where you know that this man has a job to do, and you know, we can, without compromising who we are, we don't have to make it hard for law enforcement to do that, you know? So, and then some of the other things that I'm big on is education. I'm a law school student.
Education.
I'm a business major. I hate what's happening with the post-private and secondary schools. And I don't want to poo-poo on you guys' parade, but I can tell you in law school, I've been dismissed from law school twice. From the same school. One time because I wasn't paying my tuition on time during COVID. And then the other reason why I was dismissed is because I was driving while on my Zoom classes. What does that have to do with my education? Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And I wasn't even finished with the term of school. People, if you want these youngsters to feel comfortable about going to school, don't make it so hard for them to where they can't ascertain their goals. I am a middle-aged woman trying to get an education. Law school is important to me because I want to advocate for our veterans. Not only that, I want to advocate for those that can't advocate for themselves. But I can't do that if I have a post-private and secondary school that feels that they can do what they want to do. You know, my school doesn't have an appeal system. What do you mean? It's a law school. How do you not have an appeal system? You know, how do you make it fair when you have the educator that's the dean picking on students? Not saying that that happened, but that's a hypothetical. What if you have a professor that has a problem with a student for whatever reason, but they're actually, you know, over academics? How do you govern this situation to where it's fair for the administrator, but also fair for the student? You know, it can't be that hard. You know, you're wondering why a lot of our citizens don't want to go to school. Well, let me think, because the prices of going to school are just as high as it is buying a house. So if you have to choose between buying a home and getting an education, what do you think they're going to choose? It probably won't be school. Now, because of the fact that I am able, I'm struggling just like the next American. I'm able to pay my tuition. My school that I go to, because I don't have a bachelor's at the moment, I have to go to a private school that'll take me. I have to go to a private school that can take me where I can pay my tuition, because until I get a bachelor's degree, I can't attend Loyola. I can't attend Pepperdine. You know, I can't attend USC Law School because I don't have a bachelor's. So I have no choice but to rely on post-private secondary education. But the system is just, I hate to use the word not fair, but it's not accommodating for everyone, especially people with disabilities. I forgot to mention that.
Well, that's a good point. And I would be remiss if I didn't introduce our other guest here, Clarence Mauser. And Clarence is here as a member of a number of different business organizations here, and we just wanted to get his opinion. And Clarence, what do you think about what you've heard so far from the candidate?
Well, I definitely agree on a lot of areas, especially on the education for the kids, right? As we grew up, we were taught, go to school. We were taught, go to school, get a good education, and find a good job. Well, as we found out in 2020, when the pandemic happened, over 55 million people that were trained in that tradition fell victim to being unemployed, right? Again, yes, there's a lot of areas in which I agree with Ms. Jamie on, especially when it comes to the lack of resources for the kids, right? Or the lack of resources for individuals that's trying to strive. If they want to make it better, it seems like our officials that are supposed to be helping us are making it a whole lot harder.
So how would, if, with me running for state assembly, 47th district, how would I be able to make those things better?
Well,
Do you vote?
I do. I just became a registered voter not too long ago.
Big deal.
Before, voting wasn't a big deal.
Why not?
Well, coming from an African American heritage and being a black community, I've seen where we can vote and it still doesn't do anything for us. We got. If you go to the ghettos, you got more liquor stores than you do churches.
I agree.
You got more people suffering to drugs and the abuse of gangs than you do have of educational programs.
So how can we change that?
Well, one, I've noticed that a lot of the people that run for any type of Congress field or any judge, lawyer, whatever it is that they're running for, if they need votes, the one thing that they lack to do is they lack to get out to the people. They lack that humility with people. So I definitely want to give a shout out to Mayor Malcolm and Councilman Brian Hawkins,
Yes.
because they've made a different point of view in my eyes as far as coming when it comes to voting, right? Because Mayor Malcolm, he gave a speech at the Tiger Lounge,
Yes.
saying how important insurance was. Not only that, but
And we're gonna get into that.
not only that, but he's been a supporter ever since I met him. I write books as a hobby. He was one of the gentlemen that was like, hey, what's your book about? I'm gonna buy it.
Right.
And not only did he say it, but he followed through. He told me, hey, I got a lot of things going on right now, but I'm gonna become a client of yours. And it took time, but he became a client. So doing what you say you're gonna do, that's a big factor.
Okay.
Getting back into not so much of the public eye as far as social media, no, getting to your community, meeting your people, meeting like earlier I watched your interview. You had two young ladies here and you interviewed them and they're of the younger generation. Well, if you don't know what they need, how can you address it? So I greatly appreciate the fact that you took the time out to say, hey, how can I help? What can I do? Right? Because sometimes we feel like our voices is not heard.
Right.
And there are some things that the lady said about bullying.
Right.
That right there it's a big thing, and it plays a lot into, especially in today's time, it plays a lot into suicide, self-esteem, depression, anxiety. All of these things play a factor. But if people are just like, hey, vote for me, but you never go out to visit with the people, why should we vote for you?
Absolutely.
If people never get to, in any business that you do, it doesn't matter. Me, I work with a company called Primerica. I have my own company underneath me, right?
Absolutely.
But with any company that is ever established, ever ran, you have to have a people relationship.
So we're gonna give you a moment to talk about what you do and promote your business, and then we're gonna cut back to our topics. So tell me a little bit about where you're from.
So I was born in Riverside. I was raised in Blythe, San Bernardino, and LA.
Okay. And what brought you to Hemet?
Believe it or not, I stayed in Texas with one of my sisters,
Okay.
and I tried to commit suicide. And because I tried to commit suicide, she didn't want that negativity around her kids.
Understood.
So she told me I had to leave. So in the midst of that, I called one of my adopted moms and told her the situation and asked her if she can give me a ticket. I thought she was still staying in San Bernardino,
Right.
and
It worked out that she was in it.
come to find out she was in Hemet. So I've been in Hemet since 2012.
Okay.
I've been very active in the community since I've got here.
Okay.
I actually tried to go into the Navy,
Mhm.
but on my way to go see my recruiter, I got hit by a car,
Oh, man.
and it messed up my back to where I wouldn't be able to do the activities. I wouldn't be able to run and things of that nature.
Okay.
So I wasn't physically fit to go
Yeah.
to the Navy.
I
Right?
understand. So let me ask you this. So with us being here, having this conversation, right? You heard the conversation about jobs. We spoke about jobs. We touched on homelessness. We're gonna talk off camera, Dennis and I, about affordable housing and everything. What brought you into Primerica? Tell us about what Primerica is. I'm a Primerica rep as well, but because I'm here with Clarence, I'm gonna let Clarence tell you guys about Primerica just a little bit, and give them your contact information on how they can get in contact with you. And then, was it that you wanted to be your own boss that led you to Primerica?
There's a number of things that led me to Primerica, but there's a
What's
number.
the main thing?
Well, so being that I have 7 books published, a gentleman overheard a conversation that I was telling to some coworkers of how these publishers, they were just taking advantage of it. Like I got 5 books on Amazon that if you buy them, it goes, all the royalties go to them.
Right.
Because they set up the account, they did all of that.
Right.
And so he approached me, he says, well look, after hearing your story, I know that you're not about money. In other words, I know that as long as there's life in your body, you can get money legally or illegally.
Gotcha.
And I appreciate that. But I have an opportunity that will allow you to become your own business owner.
Okay.
And when you become your own publisher, I know that you're not gonna take advantage of other people because that's what you've experienced. He said, I witness your kind heartedness, and I want to share with you this opportunity.
Okay, so your primary rep, are you out of Hemet?
I am in San Jacinto, but you will see me everywhere, all through from LA, all the way down to San Jacinto.
Let the people know how to get in contact with you in a few words, and then we're gonna have you exit off, and then Dennis and I are gonna continue to talk.
And then we have our station break coming up pretty soon, so
Yes.
we need everybody to talk as succinctly as possible.
Yes.
So you can find me on Facebook at Clarence Bowser. My Instagram is EOTO Bowser Financial. My phone number is 951-442-1334. If you can't reach that number, 951-210-4833. And if you can't get that number, you can always reach out to my wife, Jeanette Bowser, 951-591-6829. And yeah, I'd love to show you what it is we're about. We're always expanding, so if you're overworked and underpaid and you're just looking for an opportunity to earn some extra income, I'd love to show you what it is we do.
All right. And I look forward to working with Clarence on my campaign. Thank you for having this conversation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you, Clarence, and be here with us tomorrow for our prayer breakfast. Hopefully, as a cameraman, I'm not for sure, or he's gonna refer someone to me. But I look forward to seeing you again.
And where's that prayer breakfast?
Here, it's gonna be here in
Okay.
Denny's.
Oh,
and
right
the
here at
Denny's
the
on
Denny.
Florida.
Okay. Thank you, Clarence Bowser.
Want me to stop? Stop it?
No, it's okay, we're just gonna keep going. All right.
Okay, so some of
we've
the
got a
other
couple more things to cover.
And then we're gonna
Everybody's
wrap it up.
concerned about affordable housing, because that's one of the big hot issues in the county.
Yes.
Any other big hot issues we should think about talking
spoke with Jamara. She was part of the first interview, and she was suggesting that Hemet bring more housing into the area. I know how important affordable housing is, especially with the economy being the way it is. You know, we just came back from a housing crisis, and just as we were getting our sea legs right, then we ran into COVID, and then now, you know, even I'm looking for a house. As a veteran, I was able to purchase a house. I went through some problems with HUD. One of the big topics that I have is how with the reverse mortgages, they're taking advantage of our city. And it's deplorable. I don't think that they need to stop reverse mortgages because some of our seniors are benefiting from it. But one of the problems that I experienced was a house was left to me, and it had a reverse mortgage. I had the means to purchase the property, and I don't know how this happened, but I learned fast track about how our laws are made to protect big guys. And so I was not able to keep that home, but I was able 6 months later to purchase a home with my VA loan. If it was not for my service to this country, I don't know how I would have been able to purchase a house. You know, now with the credit score, you know, you have to have an 800, they want you to have a 650. That is not possible. You know, for some people it might be, but for some people that are barely making ends meet, you know, for our young ladies here working at Stater Brothers, how long are they gonna have to work at Stater Brothers before they're able to purchase their first house? And if they have any type of educational debt, grants, you know, are great, but the most of the money that goes to the school is from loans. I have a cousin that's a physician assistant, and she has probably over $100,000 in loans. So I'm thankful that Biden is doing something, our President Biden is doing something to try to ease the burden of student loans. This is why I chose post-private secondary schools, because you can pay for your education and you don't have to rely on loans. But if you do, Lord forbid, it's almost impossible to get out. And then the rent, you know, that made it hard to get assistance with rentals. So yeah, affordable housing is a must. It's a must.
And do you have any thoughts about how we can achieve affordable housing? A lot of the housing is not affordable. There's prices around here, $350,000. Affordable housing starts at $250,000.
Yes, I think that one of the main things that should be looked at is the income. What is a person making? You can make a good income off rentals, and it does not have to be just sky high. You know, so I think that especially with an 18-year-old, they would find it so hard to even be able to get a rental lease. I feel that they should look at the income, and they should not set the bar so high that people can't get to it. You know, so me being a property owner, you have to walk that fine line. You have to be an advocate for the property owners, but then you also have to have a heart for people that have to rent from this property.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and
They don't have the same objectives, obviously.
no. One thing, I heard some things that were kicked around, I believe, in San Diego. I do not believe that people with evictions should not be able to get housing, but I also believe that the property owner should be able to look at that. I think that one all these dilapidated buildings or abandoned buildings. I love the idea of taking those properties and making it so that the homeless can use those buildings. They're not being used. You know, someone is paying property taxes on it. So I think that it would be better if you're paying property taxes on the property to make it to where you use it, where you can get a tax benefit from it instead of just a regular tax write-off.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I know that down in LA they had an old Sears building, and I was watching on Channel 1 Spectrum News where they're gonna finally take that and build different apartments, sectional apartments for the homeless and make it affordable. I think that's a great idea. And if we could do something like that in Hemet, where we could take some of these buildings and some of these houses that are not being used and house the homeless and maybe find a way to get them back to work. But the only way we can solve the homeless crisis is by talking to the people that are facing homelessness, those that are homeless and those that might be facing, being homeless, and figure out what we can do to change that tide. But the main thing is focusing on our millennials, finding out what the needs of our millennials are so they don't become homeless, and make it affordable for them to have the education, get adequate housing, adequate transportation. Not everybody wants to take the subway. Not everyone wants to take the bus. A lot of it is because of crime. We need our law enforcement. We need, as citizens, to law-abiding citizens, to band with our law enforcement so that we can make it livable for everyone. And one of the other things that we were talking about is, I know you're not a fan of gun activism.
I've never been a gun owner myself. I don't object to anybody else owning a gun.
But I think that it has to be, right, it has to be responsible.
Yeah,
But it
of course.
shouldn't be, the rules, like I said, the bar shouldn't be that hard so that people like me that are gun advocates, I love guns. I don't love them. I'm not a fish and game person, but I was in the military. That's part of my job.
Shoot people. Maybe that's why I don't like guns.
I feel
Sorry,
like
folks.
this. Guns do, that is the purpose of a gun.
Defense.
For self-defense. For self-defense. But there's other things that we can use. We can use tasers, we can use stun guns. But to be honest with you, I have been a gun advocate since my dad taught me how to shoot. I think that it serves more than a purpose than just to shoot people. You have people that use it for fishing game. I have a good friend of mine that likes to hunt. I'm not a hunter, but I feel that, our laws are here to protect and serve everyone. And something that might not be a thing for you might be a thing for me.
Right.
So we have to find just a happy
I
medium.
can be over on the side pulling the handle and you can be shooting and play pitches.
I like that too.
Cool, like in the movies, cool.
I like that idea. So Dennis, do you have any questions for me before we end this?
Well, there's one little topic that we haven't talked about that's on a lot of people's minds, and that's jobs. Do you have any thoughts about how we can get more jobs at the Hemet, I don't know, for adults, but for kids so they have something to do? We don't have a lot of youth facilities in this town since the YMCA has left, which used to be behind what's now Valley Restart.
Right.
And by the way, they also used to run a building that's now a Simpson Center. The YMCA took a powder, they're gone, and it's not really been replaced with anything. So we don't have any, I could see a lack of youth facilities, and sort of a lack of jobs. Is that something you want to take a shot at?
Yes. So I feel that we need to partner up with these different businesses and find incentives for them to hire our young people. one thing I did benefit from the YMCA. I was part of the Debbie Allen dance company growing up. And because of that, they wonder why our youth are out here terrorizing and tearing up stuff. There's nothing for them to do. You know, our
seems to be
ROP
our
program.
plight here.
Yeah, the ROP program. I benefited from that. That's how I was able to get be a part of the Explorer Scouts and work on the side at the police station through the ROP program. I learned how to do hair through the ROP program. We need to bring those things back. Not everybody wants to go to college.
You want to tell us what the ROP program is?
So the RP program was a program that the high schools had that allowed you to work, and after, let's say, 5th period, you would go to like Kmart, and you would work at Kmart, or you would go to the police department, and you would work at the police department. So it was a good way, excellent way to have on-the-job training.
I like that.
Yes, and what happened is, let's say Hemet High School. Hemet High School would get with Denny, and they would say, hey, you know, will you take any student workers? And they would say, yeah, we'll take the student workers. This would solve the problem that we're having right now with all these businesses that are recovering back from COVID, and they don't have employees.
Right, there's a shortage. There's a shortage of people.
Get these students, they need money. That would stop them from robbing. A lot of, you know, people that have their hearts set on creating mischief are going to create mischief. But if we start them off young, you know, and let them know, hey, this is the only way you're going to get that 800 credit score is by getting a job. Don't wait till you get out of high school and now you're in college or you don't know what you want to do. Bring back the ROP programs and allow these kids to go to these different companies in the area. I would facilitate the factories that are being built in San Bernardino to offer transportation to the schools and high school and give them insurance incentives to say, okay, we understand this is a big deal for you to come into these areas and take these kids to your companies, but how about we do that? You know, the law schools, come and get these high schoolers. And if you guys want to teach them about, you know, advocating for our immigrants that are coming in from different countries, teach them how to properly, you know, go into courtrooms. ROP programs do that. I know that Hemet High had a program with people that were aspiring to be lawyers. We need to bring back the ROP programs. Not only do we need to do that, we need to, as a community, see if we can get some of these factories to come in and build a factory. We have a factory right here when you get off the 60 freeway. What are we doing to make sure that our people in Moreno Valley, Paris, and Hemet are the first ones to get these jobs? You know, and then they need to be good paying jobs. Because in order for you to get an 800 credit score, your income needs to at least be somewhere in the 20 and 30s. We shouldn't have to work over 40 hours. Some people are working 2 and 3 jobs. How do you do that and still run a household and, you know, have time for your husband and your spouse and your kids? That's
Your
another
kids'
reason.
homework.
Right, that's another reason why the kids are running amok. Because if you have one parent that's working 3 jobs just to make ends meet, oh, you should be able to have one good job that allows you to work and still be a mother or a father to your children. So these are some of the things that I'm advocating for. The only thing that I can do is tell you that I'm a hardworking Christian woman, that I believe in the traditional values. I do believe that you cannot just be that focused on what you believed in the past to where you would let it affect your future. You have to have some type of balance. And hopefully I can come in and bring that balance. I'm willing to sit down with my Democratic brothers and sisters, and I'm willing to sit down and talk to my brothers and sisters that are part of the Republican Party, the Independent Party, this is the only way we can solve these problems, is by coming together, working together as a team to solve our problems.
Well, Jamie, it sounds like you're not taking us, you're not planning a poll with one political party's
No.
camp or the other. Though.
No, I'm for the people. And whatever the people want, that's what we're gonna sit down and come to. It cannot be one of these things where it's all about the people over here and not about anybody over here. No. We have to come together. We have to. We have to. And that's a big issue. And I'm talking Latinos, Caucasian, Filipinos,
Pacific
African
Islanders.
Americans, Pacific Islanders. It's hard to keep up with everyone and what everyone identifies with. But whatever you identify with, I want to sit down and talk to you. I want to sit down and talk to you. I don't care what your gender is, LGBTQ plus. Come talk to me. Let's see what we can do to make this better. Evangelicals, come talk to me. Let's sit down and talk. It cannot be just this one way anymore. We have to be all inclusive. It's the only way. How do I know that we need affordable housing if I don't talk to people that need affordable housing?
It's one of the reasons we have the Interfaith Council here in this town. Is we've got a lot of different faiths, and we found a way to get together and coordinate.
That's the way it should be. I'm even willing, I think that everyone in the world has a place. We just have to figure out where it is. And how can you be who you are, and I don't interfere with who you are as well as you're not interfering with who I am. It's just being a respecter of persons.
Thank you, Jamie, and for anybody who wants to get in touch with you, how can they reach you? Somebody might want to volunteer with you, make a contribution, ask you more questions. So tell us a little bit about how we can reach you.
Okay, so you can reach me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If you find my signs, I have a barcode on my signs. Everyone, I am not in a box. Okay, I'm not that high up that I can't come down. I'm not that low that I can't come up. Anywhere you find me, my phone number is 951-407-7628. My website, I'm still working on it, is www.voteforjamieswain.com.
And there's a number of ways to spell Jamie. You want to tell us how you spell your name?
So my name is JamieJerica at, that's it. I'm sorry. I was going to give you my email at yahoo.com.
And your last name is spelled?
SWAIN. I'm sorry, y'all. I just got.
That's all right. We just got a lot of details to go through.
Yes.
People can get
So
a
let
hold
me
of
do
it.
it again to make sure you have it right.
One more time.
Yes. So my name is spelled JAMIE. My last name is SWAIN. And you can reach me by email at voteforjamieswain@yahoo.com, or you can reach me at JAMIEJERICA@yahoo.com.
Great. And thank you very much for tuning in with us, folks. This has been Dennis Fletcher with candidate Jamie Swain saying we'll see you out there on the campaign trail.
And don't forget to vote.
And we're going to just show you one more little thing here. I'm going to come over to the camera and I'm going to pan it around this lovely place that we've got here. We are in the lounge here at Denny's, and they have a lovely bar. There's the entrance. There's more tables over there. We're going to just swing around all the way. Some old pictures of Jamie's, and we're going to come back
One
in
last
here
thing.
and get a last word from Jamie right now.
Yes, tomorrow at Denny's from 9 to 12, we'll be doing a prayer breakfast. I need all the prayer that I can get, so I'm bringing in the community to come and pray for me so we can get through this campaign. And I'll be giving away gifts. What's a party without gifts and music, guys? So come on down to Denny's from 9 to 12, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. tomorrow at the Denny's here on Florida, right here by the old Marinello. I'll provide the address later. But just remember, it's on Florida. It's the only Denny's on Florida, guys. You can't miss it.
Yeah, you can't miss it. A couple blocks west of Lyon.
Yes, and I will be here maybe every other week doing something. So look out for me and come on down and support.
Again, this is Dennis Fletcher with Jamie Swain. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll say so long for now.